Oh man. Oh man.
Dude,
I was
you
just
beat me
watching
to it. Go ahead, go ahead.
what?
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, Paul shared a he he put in our team meeting today at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And he just sent an email right now, like 12 minutes before our call. That it was a 17-minute video, and he said you have to watch these two videos before the thing, and it was before our meeting. And it was, one was a 17-minute video, and one was a 5-minute video. So you only could do it if you had nothing between now and the team meeting. So I listened to the things in like double speed. That's why I was late, and that's why I didn't connect the audio because I was finishing the video.
That's the thing. So when I saw you weren't connected to audio, I was just trying to get to type so fast to tell you're not connected to audio, as if you were like one of those dumb prospects. But you connected to it right before I could send it, so I had to freaking erase it. I would have been sued.
You're not gonna believe this, but it's real. There's a Zoom of like the state confederations in Brazil, like the soccer federations, because each state has one. And so it's like old, like, and then old white dude, and then some of them like uneducated, and you don't know how they are like the top of their organization in their state. But anyway, probably corruption. There's this dude's connection that was bad, right? So then everyone else goes, okay, you have to get out and come back in. So this like for it to work better. First of all, that advice that doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But the dude gets up, walks out of the room.
No.
Dude, it's on video. It's like there's a recording of it. They were recording it.
Well, I know, but like that doesn't mean it wasn't being done on purpose.
But this is like a 65-year-old dude in the Amazon.
Yeah, I'm still like it's like this picture I got from Venezuela, where they're doing. I think I told you this. They're doing testing, like people coming into like a store.
Yeah.
And like the temperature testing is person like on the forehead.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think that's probably more possible than what you just described. In Venezuela, people like just like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Dude, but think about it. The dude never used a computer before. Like.
So how is he logged into Zoom?
And he probably had his like nephew do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dude, man. But like it didn't look
fun.
staged. It didn't look staged. Like this dude is being made fun of now. Like, and he's like supposed to be this serious dude. Like he's the head of a state like soccer federation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could happen. It'd be fun. I think, you know what's fun? The funniest thing that happens in Zoom these days is people don't realize there are a video button and a mute button. There are two things you need to click if you want to kind of have privacy.
Yeah.
So most people will like click on the video and then go to the restroom and they're not muted.
Yeah.
You can hear everything.
Well, I saw two bad ones. One early on, right? Yeah. Like one was a lady who like she didn't know her camera was on. She brought the computer to the bathroom.
That's worse.
And then the other one was a dude, and this one could be fake. The dude, he like put himself on mute, and then he started like put his camera was on, and he was like touching himself. Yeah.
What was the call about?
These are all like, I know, right? But if it was fake, like I gotta say, they're like great actors.
Yeah.
They're great this actors. Last one is the one who could be fake. There's no way the one in Brazil is fake. No way.
Is it because it's Brazil?
Yeah, it's Brazil, and like I think this is like the Acre Federation, which is like people don't even know it's a state. It's like, you know that like I think Brazil bought that land maybe like 50 years ago. I could be lying, but they added it later. Do you know where it is?
No. Is it close to Venezuela?
Yeah, it's like next to Bolivia.
Oh, so it's not Venezuela.
Well, it's not next. It's close to Venezuela, as in it's like up there, right?
Well, I was just wondering if we gave you land and I was going to get pissed off. Which is the
No, they
next thing
probably
that's
like,
going to happen, right? And we're going to sell part of our country to get cash to continue the revolution.
what's going on? I don't know.
Like we don't have money.
Yeah.
I told you, right? Like we're selling oil in the future, right? Like the next like 10 years of oil production, a portion of it is already sold to China. We already got the money. Right? It's like a freaking credit card. I don't know, man. It's really funny.
So does China think they're actually going to get the oil?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah. Imagine like a China-Bolivia war. China-Venezuela war. It's so weird.
Like I don't know, man. Like that would be pretty easy. I'm worried about like Colombia. That's where I think most Venezuelans feel we could kind of kick their butts. And if you look at the numbers
Colombia?
of like, yeah, most Venezuelans think they can kick Colombia's butt just based on like nothing. But if you look at the military armament, I'll probably give the edge to Colombia. It's just that they're different. They're like Venezuela has more like air power, and like Colombia has more land power, or the opposite. But yeah,
I think it depends on. I think it depends on like when it happens, right? Because whether you like it or not, I think Brazil, just because of the size, has like probably I could be completely lying, but they probably have a big army, right? Or like probably the biggest army in the continent. So if it's now where it's like right wing, then they're gonna fight like with Colombia, right, against Venezuela.
Yeah.
If the Lula people go back, then they're gonna fight with Venezuela. So I think that makes a big difference.
It does.
Yeah. So funny, man. Like, because Brazil before it was like, yeah, like buddies with Venezuela, with the regime, like building hospitals in Cuba. Like there was a lot of trade of like doctors, and then now it's like the complete opposite. Like it's so weird how things happen in Brazil, man. It's really weird.
It's like making friends with like your wife's friend's husband.
And then you get divorced.
Yeah, you're like, you lost your friend.
Exactly. Yeah. Dude, I'm looking at like the map of Brazil actually. So there are like there's 3 states that I forget a lot that exist. And I think a lot of Brazilians forget they exist. And you probably never heard of these states.
Which one?
One of them is Acre.
I had no idea. Is that north?
Northeast. Northwest. It's actually next to Peru. Okay. The other one is Roraima, and this one is because it's right next to Venezuela.
Yeah.
In Guyana, and the other one is Amapá. Amapá is next to French Guiana. So yeah, no one knows of these states.
No way it's nice to live there, man.
No. It's like the population is so low in these states, like so low. It's something like pretty insane.
Probably more like jaguars or lions than humans.
Yeah. But you know what they do actually these states is like, sadly, it's mostly like for cattle, growing cattle.
Up there?
Yeah, that's what they're doing with the Amazon, man. They're destroying it to grow cattle. That's like the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know it was for cattle. I thought it was for the lumber.
No, it's cattle.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought I would have imagined that you would grow cattle in Brazil in the south, close to Argentina, where like isn't that where the best terrain is? I don't know.
I think the I don't know. I just think it's cheaper in like the Amazon because you can just like
Yeah, just
get
kill
like
people
go
and
to
get it.
like 100 like acres. You just like flatten that out, build like an airport or a strip for you to land, and like no one will know for like 50 years, you know. Whereas everywhere else are gonna have to buy the land. Because dude, like Amazon, well, you know this, but like the Amazon is so huge, man. There's like people living there that we've never met.
Wait, what?
Well,
Oh, we
there's
never
like
met in the
tribes.
sense of like tribes that have not been even
Yeah,
discovered. Yeah,
yeah, that's insane.
yeah. I wonder, like if you're flattening Amapa for cattle, like there's a huge outroar for like this destruction of the vegetation. I haven't heard a lot about the mass killings, which I'm sure they happen with the Indian, like the
Yeah,
native people
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, that's a good point. I don't know, but yeah, man, it's big business. The last time I was in Brazil, um, there was this dude. I was in a layover in São Paulo. This dude he was German, and I was like, "Where are you going?" And he said one of the three, like either Amapá, Roraima, or Acre. And I was like, "What are you gonna do there?" He's like, "I'm a farmer." Like, me, I'm a farmer. But then yeah, I found out that he just like grew cattle and probably like a lot of illegal things. Like and I think those are the states too um, that a lot of like drugs get smuggled through too. Because I think like Amazon is pretty thick, the border like just because of the Amazon. Um, so I don't know, man. Oh, there's another one that like that this one's a little bit more known, but it's not that well, which is Rondônia, which is right under Acre. Yeah, I don't know, man. Brazil is just too big. They should divide that thing up.
I read a while ago, like on the Venezuelan part of the Amazon, where you have like Canaima, you have these. Have you seen these kind of rock formations that are like almost vertical and they're thousands of meters up?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Up, the cartoon movie?
No,
Okay.
I'm
So
pretty sure I
there.
will be watching a lot of that in the coming years.
Oh yeah, prepare for it. They just get Disney Plus in 6 months. And so there's
Yeah.
these rock formations. They're like mountains, but the mountains are not like this. They're like vertical.
Oh, you
Like,
told me about this.
yeah,
And then there's some like you got to the top of that like 50 years ago, right?
yeah, like it's flat on top and it has vegetation and everything. And like until
Yeah.
people were able to go there, the the thinking was that there may be dinosaurs there because it's just like a whole ecosystem that is
Yeah.
uh, not linked to anything else, which is pretty cool. Yeah, dude, like
Yeah.
you want to do drugs, like build like a drug company, you go to Amazon, like nobody's gonna find you ever.
No. Yeah.
Ever.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, so upsetting when you start thinking about like the potential that you could have in like South America, man. Man, the place. Imagine if that place was safe. It'd be so cool to travel there. Because like right now, dude. Oh, were we talk? Was I talking to you about this? Like the number of visitors to Brazil is
No.
like so small. One of the things is that like it's super far
Like
away.
tourism?
Yeah,
Is it?
like dude, more people visit like Fort Lauderdale than Brazil.
Nah.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. So Brazil's one of the things that I think is because it's really far away, and that is the thing, man. It's a hike to get to Brazil.
Yeah.
It's a 9-hour flight from Boston to São Paulo, and that's not going to be your end destination. It's usually the only one in Brazil. But yeah, dude. One thing I know for sure, there's more tourists in Miami that go to Miami than go to Brazil as a whole. Um, it's like Mexico receives a shit ton more visitors.
Oh, that I can see.
One thing that like you would compare it to, I think Brazil like would be like Australia, because it's like as far away from Europe as like Brazil is from the US. And like yeah, like Australia receives way more visitors than Brazil. But dude, check it. So number of visitors, Brazil. We need someone to like Google shit for us.
Dude, like this, this is because like they're idiots, right? Like you have to go all the way down to Sao Paulo, like where you could have like a gigantic airport in Manaus, and like you triple your visitors like this. Like, in 2 seconds.
The thing is, Brazil has a shit ton of airports. Like, I think is the second or third most airports in the world.
Yeah, but like.
But like they don't use them.
Airport.
So dude, so number of visitors in Brazil 2018, 6.59 million, dude.
That's nothing.
Now number of visitors like Florida.
Well, Florida.
111 million. Oh, maybe that counts. Maybe that's internal.
Well, the other thing is that you have Disney World. Like if you say Florida, that's a lot. If you say Fort Lauderdale as you had, then that's different.
So what's Boston, right?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Boston. 2.6 million visitors. Yeah, dude.
That's compared to the entire country of Brazil.
Yeah, dude.
That is crazy.
Yeah, they're doing a shit job.
Yeah,
like,
that's just. Yeah.
You don't even come here for this and that's probably just business, right? Because like, you don't like you come to Boston like the 10th time that you're visiting the States.
Yeah. Dude,
right?
What about Venezuela? Just curious.
Oh man.
Like no data. Like if you Google anything for Venezuela, there's no data. It's like
blank. Like 427,000. 427,000. But like you should Google like the 90s, right? Because like who's gonna go to Venezuela now, man? Like, come on.
But even back then, there was no infrastructure. We had the most interesting parts of Venezuela are Isla de Margarita, not a great airport, and then the Amazon. And you had like, as a Venezuelan, I didn't go there.
Yeah.
Because I had to get into like a 100-year-old airplane, which was gonna 50-50, like just crash, or drive for an entire week on roads that for hundreds of miles you don't have like a gas station, so you can get stranded or eaten by something.
Yeah.
The Amazon is like pretty rough, like as nature. Like everything kills you. Like you see an ant and like just run away, so it will kill you.
But dude, like, what's it called? Australia, right? Everything kills you in Australia, man.
How much is Australia?
It was significantly more than Brazil when I looked.
Yeah.
Actually, not that much. So they have 2019 was 8.6 million. So that's twice as much as Brazil. But they're far. That's a 24-hour flight.
Plus, like there are 20 million inhabitants or something like that. There are not a lot of people in Australia.
No, but it's big. It's huge.
Yeah, but it's a huge desert, dude. It's like saying like Nevada is huge.
Yeah.
Dude, do you know what the other end of that spectrum is? But not the complete opposite end, but like my parents, as you know, are from Madeira. Like Madeira is optimized for tourism.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at ratios, 300,000 inhabitants, give or take, 1 million visitors a year. So you're getting 3 times your population.
Yeah.
So how much would that be for Brazil? Like 1 billion people?
Yeah, 220 million. That's the population.
120? I thought it was like 300.
220.
220. So like, let's say you got like equal amounts. So you had 200 million people visiting.
Yeah.
Brazil. Yeah.
Dude, speaking of population, so I haven't done it in a while, but I was tracking coronavirus, daily whatever cases.
Yeah.
And then I go to world meters, and then there's a column there. They keep on adding columns. One column is the country's population. Man, there's so many countries that have huge populations that I had no idea about. Dude, like Bangladesh,
Yeah.
Nigeria, dude. And then I went digging deeper. Pretty much the biggest countries in the world in terms of population in the next 100 years are all going to be in Africa.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
It's overpopulation.
Well, are they going to be the largest because they have a growth rate that is large, or what?
Yes. Growth rate that is large. So, yeah, I started Googling it the other day because I was like, damn, like India's big, Brazil, but then if you go here, like Pakistan, dude, Pakistan is 220 million. That's more than Brazil, dude. Yeah. Pakistan's not that big, so these places are really really densely populated, right? So like Nigeria, like population in just Google like 2100, but yeah, it's something insane.
It's
so
not
in 2100, I know, but they think that Pakistan's going to be 400 million people. They think that Nigeria is going to be 700 million people.
What about Brazil?
Brazil, the growth rate is actually pretty small. They think it's going to be smaller than it is now.
Yeah, when I see those things, the one thing that I think is, what is the bottleneck, right? And Portugal is a good example. Like if you look at the population of Portugal, not great, and without like the exploration era where you have all these colonies, but today, like I would probably argue, like Madeira is a great example where my family is from. Madeira is a great example, 300,000 people. There's more Madeira descendants in Venezuela than in Madeira. So like these countries will continue to grow, but if they don't have the infrastructure to support that amount of people, what you'll see is like a bunch of people going out and migrating out. So
I think they take these things into consideration, and I think that's why I think Nigeria has like the biggest growth rate for the next coming years because I think they expect a lot of migration there.
Yeah, we also said Hillary was going to win, and like that was a pretty much easier calculation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but like it seems like a consensus that like Africa's going to be like a big growth.
Hey man, hopefully.
Not necessarily, man. That doesn't mean like good, like because they're going to be worried about like overpopulation.
Well, like if there's going to be, unless COVID becomes
give me
worse.
A second.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to pee. Give me a second. Unless you want to hear me pee.
I stop talking now. I need to pee. Fuck you. Mute.
All right. You're saying about COVID?
What?
You were saying about COVID, something about COVID?
Oh yeah, like unless COVID kind of really kicks in and helps out.
Helps out.
There's going to be a massive increase in population. So I'd rather it redistributes than continues to concentrate in like the US and like Western Europe I guess, Western Europe. Yeah.
The good thing about the US is that the population here is only going to grow due to immigration.
Yeah.
Based on like what I was reading. So that's good, right? But dude, yeah, in general, people are like having less kids. But I don't know how the population of Brazil is gonna lower. I don't know if they assume like immigration. If they just assume that shit's gonna go south in Brazil. Like for every South American country, like every 100 years, there is just a huge drop because something goes south. Some dictator's gonna come by, or like or like there's gonna be a
maybe that's by
pandemic.
design.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered?
Well, there's many, not many, but you heard of the conspiracy theory where like people think that like South American leaders are killed by like the CIA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some of
That
them
probably
are.
happens. Yeah, I'm sure. But like, so that's probably part of it, right? But now with Trump, it probably doesn't happen.
I don't know, man.
You wouldn't be able to keep that a secret.
I mean, we kept the lunar landing a secret, so.
The what?
The moon landing. Let's just go there.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you know, I'm religious, right? And like
yeah,
I believe in God. Like from time to time, I'm like, man, like I can't like 100% logically think about it because then it becomes a little harder. So I have to have faith, right? And I do believe in God. But from time to time, you weaken that trust, that faith has weak points, and it's the same with the lunar landing, right? Like, man, like that's hard to cover that lie, but like, what the fuck, we haven't gone back in 50 years with all the advances in technology, or advances in technology. Like, we haven't been able to go back, so that's kind of suspicious.
Why would you go back?
Where did you go?
Well, to get there, but then now they go like, but then
it's like, I already went to like Bangladesh. I know that I'm never going back, type of thing.
Oh, because you're saying like human population, right? Because I was going to say we got to Mars, but people haven't gone to Mars.
Yeah, we keep talking. Well, let's get to Mars. And like, what about we go back to the moon and we prove we can do it like more than 3 times?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just need another Cold War to incentivize people.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Jesse, I think Jesse and some other people, I think it's Jesse and Ivan.
Yeah.
They have I remember now because I saw it in the LATAM chat, but they had a podcast that has the best name. It should have been like, if it was available, you should use that, but we can't. Professional Haters, it's the best name.
Yeah, I think, what's his name? Cesar Roman was also there, I think.
Oh, is it all of them?
They had it for a while ago. Like, I remember this is like maybe 3 or 4 years old that they had it.
Yeah, no, I remember today because Stefano was because Paul gave an interview to like the Digest, which was a pretty cool one actually. Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, you should go on Professional Haters.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. Because like, we're not going to review apps.
And that's the thing. Like, how do you differentiate yourself? Let's say we're starting one now.
Yeah.
By the way, where's that microphone we bought for ours 2 years ago?
Probably at the office, man. Probably at the office.
I found a
pan.
That's the thing. when I was moving to the startups team, and I was kind of finally taking care of my desk space, I found like a pan, like a giant pot.
Where?
In my desk somewhere. I use it all the time now.
What was I gonna say? I don't know, man. Cause like, yeah, I don't know how you differentiate.
Yeah.
But apps takes so much time. Speaking of which, there was another one. Something happened, man, and I remember because it was kind of like that Duolingo thing.
Yeah.
But I forgot. So I lost my my streak, like my hearts or whatever, because I didn't do it yesterday.
And
So
you
I'm trying
used
to
it.
learn. I'm trying to learn. No.
Can I get a free trial to break the streak?
Oh yeah. To I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking. But I'm trying to learn Catalan. But dude, you can't really learn a language Duolingo. Came to find out. Surprise, surprise.
You have to do more than the minimum they ask you to do.
No, even if you do more, man, because you'll learn. I don't think it's in their best interest that you actually learn, right?
That makes no sense, but okay.
Yeah, think about it. I've downloaded Duolingo to learn Catalan maybe like 4 times, started and stopped. If I learned it the first time, that would have been it, right? That would have been a churn. And the reason why I say that they it's not in their best interest is because have you ever taken like anything on Duolingo?
Yeah, I'm doing French right now.
Okay, so you notice one thing. When you have to translate, they will capitalize the first letter
Yes.
of the first word so that you know that has to be it. Why would you do that, man? If you want people to like, hey, like here's the answer. Like, why would you do that?
Well, so here's why I think you would do that. It's pretty tough because you don't have much more of an incentive than you going back. Like if you have a classroom setting, have you gone and learned a language in like a classroom setting?
No.
Okay, I have. So you go there and like you have this responsibility and like there's other people you go and like there's these days you have to go and like you don't want to kind of miss it. With Duolingo, like I did like a 2 weeks in a row of lessons and then I stopped for a week and who's going to tell me anything?
Yeah.
So I think they need to find a way to make it enjoyable as well, like entertaining. Like you have all those things that go like, hey, when you do something right, make it entertaining, not make it frustrating. So that's maybe part of it so that you come back.
I don't know. I just know that it didn't really help me learn much. I mean, basic words, yes, but like when you try to, yeah, it just like the test that they give you to see if you know the language, even like it cleared a bunch of levels for me. But then whatever you're learning is still very, very basic and very repetitive. So I think maybe they over optimized for like making people happy. Right? Maybe that's it. And I even try to make it harder on myself. So I'm learning Catalan and my home language is Spanish instead of English. Which actually might actually make it easier because a lot of the words are similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some sentences that's like the exact same like phrase.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it only really gets hard when you have to type it. When you have to type, it gets hard, right?
Yeah.
But the problem there is like they don't have a great system where if you forgot to put a comma, like you get that wrong. I feel like that should be something that's like, okay, let's not make it that frustrating.
Yeah.
I guess I'm asking too much of a free app.
Well, even the paid app, I activated the paid one just because I'm hoping to learn French, at least some foundation. And there's some similarities. So I feel like I can move a little faster through some of the levels by taking those exams.
Yeah.
And with the paid one, you can take the exams many times a day. So instead of going through the 5 lessons that take like half hour to do like 10 times the same phrase, I take the exam and it marks the one I can keep going. So I get a better sense of where I'm at and then start there. So the paid app is really cool. The paid app is good for that. But I agree with you. What would make it more challenging is if they had more often requiring you to like, they put the thing in English and you have to write it in that language you're learning.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. But maybe that comes later. Like, have you gone through the entire course yet?
No.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's what happens. Later on, they ask you to speak more and to write more.
Yeah. Dude, I did a quick back to the napkin calculation, just like quickly counted the phases times how many there are, which is 5 in each. I think there's a total of like around 5,000 of those questions. That's a lot, man, for you to finish that. If you go through every level without taking tests. But one thing that I thought they are good for maybe is reading. Because you can't deny that it helps you reading, and I feel like for Catalan, I'll understand like 90% of what I read, and I'll understand like 75% of what I hear people speak, which is hard because like if you're like imagine all the Catalan I hear is from this town, and they like north of Barcelona, small town, so it's like a lot of like slang and a lot of like language is not really like proper, but I'll understand like 75% of that. But speak, I probably can't speak. Like I can't form a phrase. Like I can't think of how to say what's your name or my name is John, right? But I'll instantly know when someone says it. Maybe it's a problem. Maybe it's a problem. The problem is that it's so similar to Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah, but that is not a Duolingo problem. That is a learning a language problem. Okay. Yeah. So that's still the hardest thing for me. Like when I was applying to the MBA from Venezuela, I had to take an English test and the TOEFL, and so I had perfect scores on like writing, reading. I don't know what the other one is, and then I had like 60% score on speaking. So like I understand the language, but don't ask me to speak it. That just takes you living somewhere.
That makes sense. Yeah. What like a lot of people will do, like you know this, you live there, but like Spanish people who happen to live there, a lot of them will just carry a conversation when one person speaking Catalan, and then like they're answering in Spanish.
Wait, what?
Say you've moved to like Catalonia and you've lived there for like 2 years. You'll understand everything, especially if you're from a Spanish or Portuguese speaking country, but you won't be able to talk. So what I see happening is people, like the Catalonian person speaks in Catalan, and then the person responds in Spanish. That's cool. And actually, dude, because you know how when Franco, they tried to like get rid of like all of Catalonia, and it was like illegal to speak Catalan, to learn how to read and write. His dad doesn't know how to write in Catalan, only in Spanish.
Because he was a kid when that thing happened. Yeah.
He was a kid, yeah. And his wife, his mom, had to learn, had to take like Catalan classes when she was like, like a young adult. So how to read and write. And I think that writing it properly, like 100%, is one of those things that are like really, really, really hard, which is similar to Portuguese. Because there's like different, like I think it was telling me a while ago, there's like different levels. For you to get to the highest level, like a Catalan speaking person who was born there and learned Catalan in school may not get to that level. Like, and writing proper Portuguese, man.
Oh man, don't tell me.
I don't know why they make it so hard.
It's the opposite, right? Like we're talking about like learning Catalan and French and like through an app or classes, and it makes it, you get quite decent at reading, listening, and writing, but not speaking. And then when you're in that language natively, it's the opposite. Like I understand Portuguese and I can probably, with a week's practice, speak perfectly, but I can't write anything. I can't send an email in Portuguese.
I had to get over it because like I have to send it in Portuguese, and I know that I'm saying things that are not right. So it helps that my name is like I sign as John. That probably like helps a little bit. But I mean, I had to do it in Spanish. So dude, I'm pretty sure I made less errors in Spanish than I do in Portuguese.
Because you learned Spanish properly?
No, just because Portuguese is much harder to write.
Yeah, that's true.
In Spanish, is there a thing in Spanish where like the porque is different if you're like asking a question?
Yeah.
Or yeah, I was long ago. So right, I was reading something about this like Brazilian Portuguese professor, and saying that there's like absolutely zero reason for that. It doesn't help you when you're reading to understand what the person is saying better at all. So like that's just unnecessarily there. And I think in Portuguese there's like 3 or 4 ways to write porque. So I don't know why they do it, man. Just make life harder.
Well, Gabriel Garcia Marquez talked about removing accentuation points and like everything that was not the word itself, taking all that out. You could understand it if you're speaking it. If you're reading it, it could lead to confusion. Like with porque, not so much. You have porque or porque, right? Like
and there's like
the
sometimes you have the accent and sometimes you don't in the porque in Portuguese.
Well, like ¿por qué estás aprendiendo español? So that will be por space que with an accent estás aprendiendo español. The other one will be porque mi esposa es de España, right? That's the answer. So that will be porque, just one word without the accent. So the intonation is different. But when you're only reading it in some contexts, maybe it could lead to confusion. Or este y este.
Yeah. Este y este, yeah. But like, no, I don't advocate for moving all the accents, especially in Portuguese, because the biggest one that you really cannot get rid of unless you change the word is the e y. Mm-hmm. Right? So eu e você, me and you, and then is, right? So Jose é Venezuelano. So that's like you can't take the accent out of that.
Well, take it out and say it again with the same intonation. Wouldn't you know that you mean that I am Venezuelan?
No, because I don't know if you're trying to join that.
The other
thing.
is and. Jose A.
I don't know if you're trying to join that. This like you with the second thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it could be me and you and him and her, or it could be you are him. I don't know. You can't. That one you can't. Like when someone writes something that doesn't have the accent, and I'm reading it, I read it as without the accent, so e, so and. It pisses me off because I have to go back. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. So yeah.
I think languages are kind of like, I think you started recently watching the NFL, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much kind of you got into it, but like the NFL, like every year they revise the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And it's usually because something happens during the season. They're like, oh, but in that specific case, it's really hard to decide. So let's add these kind of addendum to the rule. And it keeps getting complex until like today, there are certain plays where like the commentators who knows football, like they have to wait, or they have to have someone who's a former referee commenting to interpret the rules because they're so complex. I think languages are the same. Like all these things is like, oh, well, we need to, and it's like the second law of thermodynamics or third, like it just gets complex unnecessarily as you go through time. Nobody takes the time to make it simpler.
Well, they kind of did a little bit.
When?
Like Portuguese, like Brazil and Portugal is pretty much like unified now. How you write it, and it was separate. And like we also don't see it getting more and more complex because like I think a lot of it has been done for like before we were born. Actually, no, I don't know if I buy that, man. I think that I think that language is getting simpler.
Yeah.
I think so.
How?
One example, in Portuguese, like if you watch like a video or anything, a movie in Portuguese or a series that's set like in the colony period, like when Brazil was founded more or less, the word for você was vós me sé.
Mm-hmm.
That later got shortened to você.
Mm.
And today it's very hard. I think that most people just use sé. So it got like shorter and shorter and shorter, simpler and simpler and simpler. That's just one example, and it's anecdotal. But man, I think maybe also it's Portuguese. Like Portuguese can't get more complicated. Cause like, dude, did I share a video with you? You know I like that that Brazilian YouTube channel that's called Portas do Fundo.
Yeah.
They're very funny, and there's one that says it's called Fluente in Português, and it's this Brazilian dude who just applies to a job and like he's and it says like he's fluent in Portuguese, but then so his boss starts like talking to him, and he'll say like você, like você, that's not how you say it. And then just like every sentence. Anyway, I'm not gonna do it right. I'll just share it with you later. It's pretty funny if you read it because, dude, it's really hard for you to actually speak it 100% correctly.
Yeah. Here's how like a language getting simpler would look like to me. Like when they meet, I don't know, it'd be pretty cool to like get a look into these meetings, like a Real Academia Española, where they're deciding to add words or to remove words. Like I wonder how those meetings are. It'll probably be a podcast by itself.
Yeah.
But here's what it would look like to me after they meet and they announce it in like January 2nd or whatever they do it. Whenever they do it, it's like, hey, X, you don't have to do that anymore. If they told me that, okay, it's getting simpler. It can remove stuff from the language. You don't have to add a question mark in the beginning of the sentence. If you add it just at the end, that's pretty. That's enough.
Yeah, that's the thing about Spanish that is, I never did it. I never added the question in the beginning, man. It's like every other language can figure it out. You can figure it out too. Like you can.
Like you need to know before you start reading. It takes 2 seconds to read the fucking sentence. Like if you see the thing at the end, you can probably go back and understand. Oh, that was a question. You don't have to like start the book again.
You can, but the thing is, like, I've never had to go back like to the beginning of a sentence and say, "Oh shit, that was a question."
Right?
Like you see it like you have peripheral vision, right? You see that it's a question, man. Come on.
Even if it was like a very long ass question and it took you 2 pages to finish the question and you see the question mark at the end, like how did it help you have it in the beginning? Like, do you think when they're translating from Spanish to English, they're like, fuck, we can't put that thing in the beginning. Now the book is worthless. I don't know, man. That's one of those things where like, make it simpler. Tell me one day, like 2021, Real Academia Española, don't add any sort of exclamation or question marks in the beginning of any sentence. You don't need to do that anymore. Thank you. Boom.
Yeah.
It's probably like $1 billion in savings for the global economy, possibly.
Dude, I never put a question mark at the beginning. I could never figure it out with my computer. I was like, man, like if everyone else in the world can figure out when the question's a question without the question mark in the beginning, I trust that Spanish people can too.
Yeah.
I've never in my whole life had to go back to the beginning of a sentence and say, oh shit, that was a question, let me read it again. Oh man. Yeah.
I'd like to see a documentary of like when like the language added it. Like what's going on. It probably has to do something with slaves.
Dude, it's one of those things that are like, um, it's something so small to us, but it probably goes so deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's like one of those like there's a YouTube channel that I started following about like Brazilian history, but it's all these like obscure things that no one will know about just because like known history that we have not from Brazil but from the world is like what 4,000 years, and there's just so many stories that you're never gonna know because they appear like they're so small, but there's a whole back like story to it that you just that's the thing that people know. Imagine everything that people don't know.
Well, but like going back to this, right? That's what I think, and that's why I don't understand. Like we're complaining about the question marks on both ends, right?
Yeah,
So by itself, that's just annoying. But if you think about why it hasn't been changed, that is even more annoying. Like these
yeah,
people are meeting in like freaking Madrid or something
yeah,
on like December for a week to discuss changes, and then someone comes like, "Hey, what about we remove that thing in the beginning of the sentence and like they put it to a vote and like people vote no, or like it's
yeah,
someone like with a hammer like no, you again,
yeah.
you're not being invited next year. I don't know what's stopping them.
Something to do with money.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of money in the
We
question.
can go why, dude. Think about like the
Yeah,
like something has to do with it because like there's computers with the question mark that's already made like down.
in the code,
Not
that's
in the
okay.
code, but the actual key.
Well, but like you can use it, but you don't have to use it.
Right.
What about that? So you don't have to change a bunch of stuff in the past. But starting today, you don't have to add that. That is one character extra. Think
I
about
don't
the
think
world of
you.
computer. How much does a character cost per year in terms of storage, electricity, and all that stuff? Transmission of data.
Well, yeah. I don't know, man. I think that nowadays it is kind of like optional. It was optional for me,
I don't do it.
right? Did
Yeah,
your
but
partners do it?
marketing people do it if you want to have proper marketing. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
just, yeah. So, yeah.
I googled why is there the two question marks in Spanish. Everyone just says that it's proper Spanish, but we know that.
Yeah.
They want you to know it's a question.
I don't know,
And it
man.
was funny because like at first, when I was learning Spanish in school, it was like that was one of the things that overwhelmed me. Like fuck, like when do I add the upside down question mark? How do you do it? Like, because you have to write it. Then, yeah, I don't know, man. Now
Dude,
I
it's
have to
like
find out why they do it.
it's annoying. Like if you go back to Duolingo, can you imagine, like if you're learning Spanish in Duolingo and then you have those big long sentences, like when you're a little bit more advanced, you start having these big long sentences that you have to kind of put together, and then or even write, and then like you get the because you didn't add the thing. Like yesterday, I
Mm-hmm.
had a big, large one in French, and I was so proud. And it was like kick it because instead of like voiture rouge, like red vehicle, it was like vehicle red.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And it's like 17 words in that sentence. Like I don't want to use Duolingo now. Churn.
yeah. Don't use it, dude. How much is the app?
It's pretty expensive. I have it on
Really?
monthly. Yeah, it's like $12, $13 a month.
A month?
Yeah, it's like
Man.
$6 a month if you do the full year. But I'm not gonna do the full year.
Wait, I saw something here.
Yeah.
In 1668, John Wilkins proposed using the inverted exclamation point, which yeah, we forgot about that. They do that too, and that's even more stupid, right?
Yeah.
The inverted exclamation point as a symbol at the end of a sentence to denote irony. Oh, he was one of many, including, I don't know how to read his name, who felt there was a need for such a punctuation mark, but Wilkins' proposal, as was true of the other attempts, failed to take hold. That actually would be useful, right? if you want to be ironic, dude, that's amazing. Actually, if you want to say something ironic, do the upside down exclamation point at the end. That's what he proposed.
Oh, like instead of using the proper like should we, you do the thing inverted, so like you're not really asking. You're just being
no, in this case, he was talking about the exclamation one.
Oh, the exclamation.
Yeah.
But even with questions, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But can you do it at the end of the sentence? You could, right? Like I mean in the computer.
Do it opposite? I think you're autocorrect.
You think so?
Yeah. There's a line of code to correct it.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like how many millions of dollars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here. The inverted question mark was adopted long after the Real Academia's decision, published in the second edition of the Ortografía de la Lengua Castellana in 1754, recommending as a symbol indicating the beginning of a question written in Spanish. Yeah. They decided this like when we still thought like the world was flat. Actually, people still think that. So
yeah,
there's actually I'm actually going to read this Wikipedia page because it sounds interesting, and I'm definitely going to use the inverted exclamation point when I'm trying to be ironic. Dude, that's so good nowadays that everyone communicates in writing, right? Because like that's something that actually happens. People are being ironic, and then people don't know over writing because it's hard to be ironic over writing.
Dude, but here's the thing. It depends on the person. I love when not everybody gets it. Like part of being ironic for me, the value of it is that some people will not get it.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't know.
Anyway,
cool, man.
All right, man. I'm gonna jump on this sales meeting.
Have fun.
All right, man. Peace.